Let's listen to the most insane interview with ABC News from Israeli Prime Minister, war criminal, Benjamin Netanyahu. Remember, this is like basically talking, it's like we got 20 minutes with Adolf Hitler. Okay? Let's take a look at what Adolf Hitler has to say.
ABC News.
As it has decided to move its troops into Russia in the middle of the winter. One final push, Adolf Hitler says. Surely this won't backfire.
Exclusive. Earlier today, ABC News chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl sat down with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Prime Minister is talking about the battle with Iran and the effects it's causing around the world. Here's Jonathan's interview in full.
Now to an ABC News exclusive. I'm joined by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who comes to us from an undisclosed location in Israel. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you for joining us. Let me start with the news that has just come in. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that Iran has been urgently signaling that it wants to end hostilities and to resume talks over its nuclear program. According to the Journal, they have been sending...
We don't know if he's actually in Greece. I think he probably is in... I think he's probably in Israel still. Like, I know the flight, like the Israeli Air Force One flew to Greece. But I don't know. He could be. I could see him hiding in Greece. I saw a video that he shot that was in Israel, but he could have shot that video before. I saw a video that he released that he shot in Israel outside. But once again, he could have shot that video beforehand, and maybe he's still hiding in Greece. I assume he is, but
sending messages to Israel and the United States via Arab intermediaries. Have you received that message from the Iranians?
Well, not directly, but I'm not surprised. I mean, they want to continue to have these fake talks in which they lie, they cheat, they string the U.S. along, and you know, we have very solid intel on that. But of course, they want to.
they're stringing the U.S. along. They're lying. Their talk is cheap. You are Benjamin Netanyahu, man. Who are you talking about? You struck Iran amidst a denuclearization agreement that was taking place, brother. Fuck you mean? And then you flexed and you said, haha, we showed you. Haha, we showed you. We were actually faking. We had no interest in a denuclearization agreement at all. He did a photo op in Israel just yesterday in the damage of the missile attack. He's in Israel. That's what I saw too, yeah. But I don't know. Maybe he's just like flying back and forth. I can see that. It's not that big of a flight. You know your history. Stop continuously throwing around the Hitler comparison. Have some grace. Fuck Bibi, but man, dude, 20 months of a live streamed child holocaust. And there are still motherfuckers in here who are like, please, excuse me, don't compare Benjamin Netanyahu to Adolf Hitler. He is, okay? That is an apt comparison. Shut the fuck up. You should question what leads you to feel this way, as though like, what leads you to feel this way? Like how many children does he have to fucking murder with impunity for you to go, okay, at this point, you know, it's a valid comparison. It's an apt comparison.
Keep on building their nuclear weapons and building their mass ballistic missile arsenal, which they're firing at our people. They want to continue to create the two existential threats against...
Yeah, he's right. You shouldn't just compare him. The entire Israel state is Nazi state reborn. Oh, yeah, no, for sure. For sure. Zionism is a fascist ideology almost identical in its ethnic, religious superiority that it feels in its in-group and its exterminationist policies to Nazi sentiment, okay? It is fascism through and through. Israeli society reflects the Nazi society's exterminationist ambitions broadly. And Adolf Hitler is a decent comparison to the guy who has been helming this exterminationist policy in the Israeli society. Hitler is not a uniquely evil person. There were there were and will continue to be Hitlerian people in the world whose anti-Semitism was only the avenue through which he targeted his evil. Such evil targeted through any other avenue is equally evil. Exactly. They're like the only reason why people get so mad about this, the reason why people get so butt mad about this is because, well, Hitler exterminated Jews and this guy is Jewish. You're fucking insane if you can't see that, like, it doesn't matter what the in-group, out-group dynamic is. What matters is the violence and the extermination that is taking place. Okay? I am not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm sorry that your sensitive feelings are hurt. It's so stupid. Imagine trying to make this distinction too, like right now.
It's Israel while they're talking. That's not going to happen. You know, we're not at the 11th hour. We're at the 12th hour, and we stopped. We acted to secure the life of the nation, and we're going to continue until we remove the two existential threats: the nuclear threat and the threat of 20,000 ballistic missiles that are equivalent to 2 nuclear bombs. So they want to stop and keep it, but we are committed to removing those threats.
So I think what I hear you saying quite clearly is there will be no end to the Israeli bombing of Iran until you have accomplished your objective here. You're not going to stop for peace talks.
Well, look, we had the...
Yeah, no shit. Wait, you're not going to stop for peace talks? Huh. I'm confused. Asking the fucking guy who literally hard stopped the denuclearization agreement that was in play by directly striking Tehran.
Peace talks. We gave it a chance.
Yeah. It's so I am the dumbest baby on the planet. Okay. As an American reporter, I, of course, am the dumbest person you've ever encountered. And I am consistently going, what? What? Over and over again, as you tell me, as you bludgeon me in the fucking head with your overarching ambition of never-ending death and destruction. What? You mean to tell me you don't want to stop and do a ceasefire negotiation? I thought you wanted to release the hostages. I'm so confused. Do you not want to release the hostages? You've only killed the principal negotiator, refused to fucking bargain with the Palestinian position, even though it was endlessly fucking reasonable in order to fucking end the ethnic cleansing campaign 1,000,000 times since October 7. But even though you've done that over and over again, I'm still confused. Now they're doing the exact same thing. It's like they always hit a reset button. What? You don't want to end the hostilities with Iran? I'm so confused. What's happening?
We've, clenched our teeth. We did everything we could to enable President Trump to negotiate the desired result, and that would have been preferable for us, and I think for everyone. But we saw in the course of the...
Yeah, the preferable result is handing pistols to everyone in high command in the in the Islamic Republic and having them kill themselves, and then bring in, I don't know, the fucking Shah's son so that he can be the leader. That's the preferable position that they want.
The negotiations, while they were negotiating with the United States, the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei, tweeted almost every day, "Death to Israel." The talks were merely a facade. And we absolutely, if it could be achieved with negotiations, fine. But it wasn't being achieved, so we had to act to safeguard our existence. You would do the same.
But over the weekend, we heard from President Trump on Truth Social say Iran and Israel should make a deal and will make a deal. We will have peace soon between Israel and Iran. Many calls and meetings now taking place. So if President Trump asked you to stop the bombing campaign to resume these talks, would you do it?
Well, President Trump has been a great leader of the world, and a great leader and a great friend of Israel. And he put forward the terms very clearly in the negotiations. He said, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And in order for it not to have a nuclear weapon, it cannot have the capacity to enrich uranium, which is the prerequisite for nuclear weapons. Iran refused. It just refuses all the time. It cheats, and it continues to try to weaponize the enriched uranium they already have. They have 9 atom bombs worth of enriched uranium. They're working secretly, as we shared with the United States. They're working secretly to rapidly weaponize this. In a few months, they would have nuclear bombs. That's what they want to do. They want to continue stringing the U.S. along, build up those weapons. They don't want a seat at the table. They want to blow up the table. Well, specifically, they want to blow up Israel and purchase time. And I think the U.S. Shares the intel. I know they share the intel because we share intel with each other. If it's fake talks, obviously not. If Iran will relinquish the means to destroy our country, then obviously it's preferable to anything else. But that hasn't happened so far, and frankly, I doubt it's going to happen now.
But he said...
Once again, I have to reiterate this, but if Iran had nukes already, or if Iran was this close to having nukes, which, how can you look at everything that has unfolded so far and not think that Iran should have had nukes? Like... Yeah, if Iran had nukes, Israel would not be able to fucking blow up Iran like it is doing currently. Okay? It is the very fact that it did not foolishly develop nukes after Israel kept saying Iran has nukes, Iran's about to get nukes for the past 40 fucking years, that is the reason why Israel gets to do whatever the fuck is doing in the region right now, including to Iran right now. Yeah. By the way, here it is. The Israeli censorship approves for publication that 3 Israelis were killed last night in a ballistic missile impact on the Bazan oil refining and petrochemicals company located in the Haifa Bay. Publication of the footage was also approved. The Bazan oil refining and petrochemicals company announced it has suspended activity in all of its facilities in the Haifa Bay after yesterday's Iranian ballistic missile strike severely damaged the central power plant. They hit it. They struck the fuck out of it, and they boomed it. This comes after, remember, this comes only after Israel struck the oil depot in Tehran. Israel struck the oil depot in Tehran, lit it on fire. Iran retaliated and struck the Haifa oil refinery. And they fucking hit it with the 5 Costco big booms.
Iran and Israel should make a deal and will make a deal. How do you explain that disconnect? He seems very optimistic, in fact, seeming like he wants you to get back to the table and get back to the table now. You're saying there's no getting back to the table until the goals of the bombing campaign. Yeah,
by the way, Iran sought U.S. pressure on Israel for ceasefire via Gulf states. Sources say, I told you this, Iran will. Remember when Benjamin Netanyahu, I think yesterday, was like, oh, Iran will never stop. They just want to blow up Israel, blah, blah, blah. And I told you, like, that's a fucking lie. That Iran would literally stop yesterday if America pressured Israel to stop. 100%. 100%. I-24 citing an American official, President Trump has given the green light to join the war against Iran. An American source tells Israeli I-24 channel that final preparations are underway for the United States to join the war between Iran and Israel. World War III incoming. The Iranian government denied that claim. I don't care. I do not care if the Iranian government is claiming that they did not actually request a ceasefire. I promise you, if there was an actual fucking implementation of a ceasefire, a real ceasefire, which I don't even know if Iran could trust America's word on this, because they've literally used the pretense of negotiations to continue conducting military campaigns, as they did with the first strike on Tehran. But if there were real assurances of a cessation of hostilities, Iran would take it 100%. It is in their best interest to not go into a full tilt World War III style situation with America and Israel. They don't want that. They want to maintain their sovereignty. They don't want to have more of Tehran city blocks blown up, this time with American with an American shock and awe campaign. Do you think Kamala would have helped Israel by now? I don't know. Probably. We have no way of knowing. We have no way of fully knowing. But what I can tell you is this. If you think that Kamala Harris's policies here would be all that different from what the administration is doing so far, you have not been listening to every single high-level Democrat. Kamala Harris's NSC advisor, who was supposed to be her NSC, National Security Council advisor, literally came out and said, we would be defending Israel even harder. Thank God Biden defended Israel harder than Trump ever could. So no, I do not think that they would be any different than the Trump. But I do think maybe they could be more aggressively in defense of Israel and gone in to strike Iran earlier than even the Trump administration. Who knows? The I-24 report is probably bullshit. I don't know, but
Pain are achieved.
Well, if the goals could be achieved through negotiations, fine. I said that to the president when I saw him in Washington. That didn't happen in the 2 months of negotiations that President Trump gave them. Right now,
Tim Kaine in the membrane disagrees. Tim Kaine has been also one of the few voices against endless militancy in Gaza. So it's not shocking. There are a couple voices. This is like pointing to fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene, chat, or pointing to what's his face, Thomas Massey. Okay, there's like a couple politicians that actually stray away from the uniparty position. There are more of them in the Democratic Party, certainly, but these guys don't fucking matter in the grand scheme of things, because Tim Kaine on foreign policy issues was a lot better than the average Democrat, and he has consistently maintained that position even when Joe Biden was the fucking president. And did they listen to him? Fuck no. So yeah, his word is basically like Pete Welsh. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there are voices within the Democratic Party, but very limited. Think about it this way. Bernie Sanders' perspective on this was Bernie Sanders put out a bill to stop sending weapons to Israel. This is a position that like 80% of Americans are in agreement with, okay? It is an 80-20 issue. He got like what, 17 senators to sign on? 17 senators. That was under the Biden administration. Do you believe Iran has successfully implemented deterrence, or are they suiciding by showing restraint still? I think Iran is restrained in its retaliatory attacks. And I think that ultimately it doesn't matter, because America is, I foresee America joining the battle here.
they thought that they could get away with it. They found that our very decisive and very precise military action against their nuclear program, against their ballistic missile program, is effective. So now they want to stop it and continue on the side to continue to develop those two means of mass death.
Yeah. People talk about like the Democrats and how different they would be. This is from 8 hours ago. Let's see what fucking Joe Scarborough had to say.
Right now is as escalation continues, and again, as Iran seems, at least based on the reports we've heard, to be basically helpless from stopping these Israeli attacks. Even they're saying as much. Question is, why would Israel stop against an implacable foe who, since their creation in 1979, has made their existence about the destruction of Israel and the destruction of America about as much as anything else? It's hard to see a Netanyahu who the world couldn't bring to the peace table for Hamas or Hezbollah. Hard to imagine Netanyahu basically stopping the attacks now that Iran seems so helpless. What are you hearing?
So, Joe, first, I think
Democrats, by the way, this is the liberal outlets, by the way. Thank God. Thank God the liberals are showing everyone with eyes to see, with ears to hear, that the liberals themselves are not in any way, shape, or form meaningfully opposing Trump's militancy.
Your description is entirely accurate. Israel now has operational control of the skies, or certainly over Tehran, and it appears over much of Iran, in a way that it can just choose targets now. It decides that it's going to take out the Quds Force leadership, and it appears in an operation overnight they did just that. It's said that they could have targeted the supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, but decided against it. So they get to choose targets now, but there isn't really a target that says, here's how to end the war. I think Israel faces a problem a bit like what it faces in Gaza. You can have total dominance. I mean, Gaza is just almost undefended, and yet Israel's had trouble ending the war, getting somebody with whom it can make a deal that finally brings the conflict to an end, and who is prepared to surrender to Israeli power. You're not going to find an Iranian surrender mandate until you have regime change there. So I think inevitably Prime Minister Netanyahu in Israel has talked more and more over the last several days about a regime change option. Talking yesterday to Iranians who monitor the situation back home very closely, their view is that the Israelis are not really much closer to having a regime change.
How much weight do you give Khamenei's fatwa against nuclear weapons as a reason why Iran hasn't developed a nuke? I mean, nah. I don't think. I don't know. I'm not super. I'm not as like as tapped in with like how truly religious Iranian leadership is. Like if you were to ask me about Erdogan, I can talk all day about whether he is truly like a modest and honest, earnest believer in Islam, especially when it comes to his like governance. Okay. I don't know how fucking, I don't know how firmly committed they are to things like that. How might a full-scale war impact the genocide as diaper army resources will need to be redirected? I mean, the diaper army resources are clearly still committed to doing ethnic cleansing. I can't listen to these fucking stupid-ass Democrats any longer. All right, let's continue. Diaper army resources still very firmly focused on the ethnic cleansing campaign in Gaza. More coherent anti-war message than anything the Dem Party can manage, including the Bernie wing. Oh, yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh, God. I hate this country so much. These are the moments where I'm like, we are such an embarrassing government. We have such a fucking clown show. It's hard to fucking show love to this goddamn state, dude. Hasan abi probably has Alevi heritage. That's definitely a fucking Turkish person. Okay? No, I'm not. I'm Sunni. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, this guy, secret Alevi. Abi Alevi bu. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Everyone is finding out who the real for America First MAGA and who were fake and just said it because it was popular. Unfortunately, the list of fakes are becoming quite long and expose themselves quickly. Also, at the top of that list is Donald Trump, by the way. Anyone slobbering for the U.S. to become fully involved in the Israel-Iran war is not America First /MAGA. Wishing for murder of innocent people is disgusting. We are sick and tired of foreign wars, all of them. And this one will quickly engulf the Middle East, BRICS, NATO, as countries are required to take a side. Real America First /MAGA wants world peace for all people and doesn't want our military killed and forever injured physically and mentally. We love our U.S. military and love them helping secure our borders and our cities for the defense of our people and our country. You know what this reminds me of? This is like Itamar Ben-Gvir, America's Itamar Ben-Gvir, Marjorie Taylor Greene being like, do not deploy our military for foreign conquest. There are Mexicans here. We must redirect our military to the American West Bank, a territory with a lot of Mexicans, which would be the Palestinian equivalent here. And that is, of course, the state of California. That's the American Itamar Ben-Gvir, Marjorie Taylor Greene demanding redirecting all Israeli occupying force troops into the West Bank so they can do pogroms. The occupied Californian territory must be purged of the enemy combatants that is known as the Mexicans. Like, that's literally the reason why she's saying this. She's like, why won't we secure our borders with our military? Stop manifesting this? I'm not. She has said this before. They are our friends, spouses, cousins, nieces, nephews, sisters, brothers, sons, woke. We have spent trillions in the Middle East, and we have dealt with the aftermath of death, blown apart bodies, never-ending suicides, and disabling PTSD. All because they told us propaganda as to why we must sacrifice our own to defend some other country's borders and some other country's borders. She said that twice. She's not very smart. I don't want to see Israel bombed or Iran bombed or Gaza bombed. I don't want to see Ukraine bombed or Russia bombed. And we do not want to be involved or required to pay for any of it. We are $36 trillion in debt and have mountains of our own problems. We have giant planks sticking out of our own eyes while we complain about splinters in others' eyes. Every country involved and all over the world can be happy, successful, and rich if we all work together and seek peace and prosperity. And by that I mean we must bomb Mexico. Once we are done cleansing our borders of all Mexicans, we must bomb Mexico directly. After all, lots of Mexicans there. It's in the name. Taking this position is not anti-Semitic. It is rational, sane, and loving towards all people. Okay. Alternative reality bit. Are you ready? Marjorie Taylor Greene, after saying Jewish space lasers caused the California wildfires, is sent to the Holocaust Museum to write a book report. But in that process, she doesn't actually, she doesn't just like go through the motions and say like, I am sorry for saying Jews have space lasers that they've used on California. I have learned my lesson. Instead of just like going through the motions, she actually does get woke. Okay? She actually does get woke. She's like, I saw the shoes of children in a pile and I was overcome with emotion. The sheer cruelty of man doing such horrific acts of systematized violence against other men. It changed my perspective entirely. This is why I am guided by an anti-Zionist sentiment, and this is why I now want world peace. She got reverse John Fetterman at the Holocaust Museum. She was overcome with emotion.